sometime. Hey, everybody. You know what time it is. It's 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We're live. We're actually on time this time. You know where your cryptids are?
You know it. Yes.
So we're going to try and pick up from the train wreck we had last week. And it might be another train wreck.
Well,
we don't know.
As long as there's no technical difficulties and computer glitching, and we should be all right.
So far, everything's holding straight on true, but it's also chaos. Chaos reigns supreme here in Unleashed. Yeah. So then, today's topic. We're still in the international. We're still bebopping all over the place. Today's topic is the Rendlesha Forest incident in December of 1980.
Oh, in the 80s, huh?
It is the 80s.
All right.
Tammy says, hi, guys.
Yes. Good evening, Tammy. All right. So what is this Rendlesha Forest incident?
Oh, there we go. Now we got the comments up on the screen for everybody to watch. Because it's just easier. I had to figure out where that button was. It's a new addition to the app. So, Rendlesha Forest was a series of reported sightings of unexplained lights near Rendlesha Forest in Suffolk County, England, in December of 1980, which became linked with UFO landings. The events occurred just outside RAF Woodbridge, which was used at the time by the United States Air Force. So it's international, but still kind of American. And this is coming off the Wikipedia page for the time being. United States Air Force personnel, including Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles L. Halt, I can say these names, claimed to see things as they described as a UFO. The occurrence is the most famous of alleged UFO reports to have happened in the United Kingdom, and is among the best-known reported UFO events worldwide. It has been compared to the Roswell UFO incident in the United States, and is sometimes called Britain's Roswell. Maybe next week we'll do crop circles. If he's watching, that's for you. The UK Ministry of Defence has stated that the event posed no threat to national security, and therefore it was never investigated as a security matter. Skeptics have explained the sightings as misinterpretation of a series of nocturnal lights, a fireball, the Oxford Lighthouse, and bright stars. So then, we're going to get into the nitty and the gritty and the hardcore details. So we got around 300 hours on December 26, 1980, reported as December 27th by Halt in his memo to the UK Ministry of Defence. A security patrol near the east gate of RFA Woodbridge saw lights apparently descending into nearby Rendlesha Forest. These lights have been attributed by astronomers to be a piece of natural debris seen burning up as a fireball over southern England around that time. Of course, it's a fireball. It's swamp gas. It's, the lighthouse lights reflecting off the fog and beaming over, and then it's
going everywhere.
That's Skeptic's Corner. We're a little early on that one. But hey, when do we follow a format?
Never.
There is no format here. Servicemen initially thought it was a downed aircraft, according to Halt's memo. Upon entering the forest to investigate, they witnessed a glowing object that was metallic in appearance with colored lights. As they attempted to approach the object, it appeared to move through the trees and, quote, the animals on a nearby farm went into a frenzy, unquote. One of the servicemen, I was going to make a joke there, but I just glazed it, just moving on. We don't need farmyard jokes right now. One of the servicemen, Sergeant Jim Peniston, later claimed to have encountered a, quote, craft of unknown origin while in the forest. Though there was no publicized mention of this at the time, and there is no corroboration from other witnesses. So you got a guy saying, I saw this, and everybody else going, we don't know what you're talking about. So was Sergeant Jim Peniston making stuff up? We don't know. It's Skeptic's Corner. We're ahead. It's been a weekend. Shortly after 0400 hours, local police were called to the scene but reported that the only lights they could see were those from the Oxford Nest Lighthouse some miles away on the coast. Now, I mean, guaranteed it's a lighthouse, but, we got some reports of a flying object coming down. It's a meteor, and then, it's the lighthouse light that's coming over here. So, I mean, we already got different stories going on, different things going on.
Yeah.
After daybreak on the morning of 26 December, servicemen returned to a small clearing near the eastern edge of the forest and found 3 small impressions on the ground in a triangular pattern, as well as burn marks and broken branches on nearby trees. At 10:30, the local police were called out again. That's 10:30 a.m. This time to see the impressions, which they thought could have been made by an animal. Okay, so it's a triangle pattern, and it's an animal. I don't want to see an animal that has a triangular pattern leaving in the mud.
Come on.
Well, as our good friend Josh would say, I want to pet the puppy, and that's all him. That's all on him there.
Right.
Georgina Bruni, in her book You Can't Tell the People, published a photograph of the supposed landing site taken on the morning after the first sighting. 28th of December, the deputy base commander, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt, visited the site with several servicemen in the early hours of December 28th, 1980, as reported as 29 December by Halt. They took radiation readings in triangular depressions and the surrounding areas using an AN PDR-27, a standard U.S. military radiation survey meter. Easy for them to say. Although they recorded 0.07 millitemkens per hour in other regions, they detected 0.03 to 0.04 millitemkens per hour around the background level. Furthermore, I've left the place. I got my dog wandering around in the front. I'm like wondering where the hell it's going. I don't have anyone here to watch her while I do this, which is why you got this backdrop instead of the other.
That's right.
Yeah, James knows my dog, and she's all over the damn place. Furthermore, they detected a similar small burst over half a mile away from the landing site. Alt recorded the events on a microcassette recorder. It was during this investigation that a flashing red light was seen across the field to the east, almost in line with the farmhouse as the witnesses had seen on the first night. The Oxford Nest Lighthouse is visible further to the east in the same line of sight. So now we got a red light here, and we got a lighthouse over there, and then this is in between.
Right.
What animals making these big triangular tracks in the? I don't want to meet these things. Reserve investigation, the flat right slide. Later, according to Halt's memo, 3 star-like lights were seen in the sky, 2 to the north and 1 to the south, about 10 degrees above the horizon. Halt said that the brightest of these hovered for 2 to 3 hours and seemed to beam down a stream of light from time to time. Astronomers have explained these star-like lights as bright stars. Star-like lights as bright stars. Okay, then.
Right.
That's not even trying to
deny.
That's not even denial. It's just like double wording everything. Oh yeah, those starlight lights were starlights. They were bright stars. Okay. All right. So location: Rendlesha Forest is owned by the Forestry Commission. It consists of about 5.8 square miles of coniferous plantations interspersed with broadhead belts, heathland, and wetland areas. It is located in the country of Suffolk, about 8 miles east of the town of Ipswich. The incident occurred in the vicinity of 2 former military bases, RAF Bentwaters, which exists to the north of the forest, and RAF Woodbridge, which extends into the forest from the west and is bounded by the forest on its northern and eastern edges. At this time, both were being used by the United States Air Force and were under the command of Wing Commander Colonel Gordon E. Williams. The base commander was Colonel Ted Conrad, and his deputy was Lieutenant Colonel Charles L. Holt. The main events of the incident, including the supposed landing or landings, took place in the forest, which starts at the east of the base runway, or about 0.3 miles to the east of the east gate of RAF Woodbridge, from where the security guards first noticed mysterious lights appearing to descend into the forest. The forest extends east about 1 mile beyond East Gate, ending at a farmer's field and Capel Green, where additional events allegedly took place. So, I mean, this place would seem to be just hopping. Oxford Nest Lighthouse, which skeptics identified as a flashing light seen off to the coast by the airmen, is along the same line of sight about 5 miles further east of the forest edge. At that time, it was one of the brightest lighthouses in the UK.
Wow.
Now we got... You're okay. Go ahead. She was laying all nice right here next to me, and then when I said about the lighthouse, she just shot up and was just staring intently, and it's like, Jesus, though. I don't need to have a heart attack on air.
No, definitely.
It would probably spruce it up a little bit. It would halt some of the train wreck. All right. So we've got a couple different pieces of evidence that we have the Halt memo and the Halt tape. So we're going to go over the memo. The first piece of primary evidence to be made available to the public was a memorandum written by the Deputy Base Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Charles L. Halt, to the Ministry of Defense, the MOD, known as the Halt Memo. This was made publicly available in the United States under the U.S. Freedom of Information Act of 1983. The memorandum was dated 13 Jan 1981 under the title Unexplained Lights. A 2-week delay between the incident and report might account for errors in the dates and times given. The memo was not classified in any way. David Clark, consultant to the National Archives, has investigated the background of this memo and the reaction to it at the MOD. His interviews with personnel involved confirmed the cursory nature of the investigation made by the MOD and failed to find any evidence for any other reports on the incident made by the USAF or the UK apart from the Halt memo. Holt has since gone on record as saying he believes that he witnessed an extraterrestrial event that was then covered up, because why would they cover up a UFO? I mean, I think we hit our month-long UFO special was every time there was a big UFO incident, fall, damage, whatever, there was a big cover-up. And so why wouldn't there be another cover-up? It just seems to be the way it goes. You have two people watching. Maybe it's that one person. If you're the one person that's stuck.
From last week?
If that's the same person that stuck through us as we limped through last week's show. I don't even think we limped. I think we just drug ourselves on our hands and knees and elbowing it. And,
we crawled.
I don't even think that was crawl, man. You can't even call that a drunk crawl. That was rolling across the ground.
And I was trying to get drunk too because it was so bad. Okay.
Anyway, back on topic. Don't worry, everybody. We got one more international. We'll get back on track. We always have one just show that's just crap, and then everything else picks up. The Halt tape in 1984, a copy of what became known as the Halt tape, was released to UFO researchers by Colonel Sam Morgan, who had by then succeeded Ted Conrad as Halt's superior. This tape chronicles Halt's investigation in the forest in real time, including taking radiation readings, the sighting and the flashing lights between trees, and star-like objects that hovered and twinkled. The tape has been transcribed by researcher Ian Ridpath, who included a link to an audio download and also a step-by-step analysis of the entire contents of the tape.
Ooh.
So I've been able to listen to the tape. It's on a lot of TV shows when they talk about this. And you can hear him as he's walking, and he's making verbal notations on what he's seeing, what's going on, radiation, spikes. When I hear that, it's not a guy who's just kind of misidentifying things as he goes. I mean, he's really just trying to get to the bottom of what's going on.
Right.
Statements from eyewitnesses on December 26. In 1997, Scottish researcher James Easton obtained the original witness statements made by those involved in the first night sightings. One of the witnesses, Ed Kamensag, said in his statement, "We figured the lights were coming from past the forest, since nothing was visible when we passed through the woody forest. We would see a glowing near the beacon light, but as we got closer, we found it to be all lit up farmhouse. We got to a vantage point where we could determine that what we were chasing was only a beacon of light off in the distance." Another participant, John Burroughs, also stated, "We could see a beacon going around, so we went towards it. We followed for about 2 miles before we could see it coming from a lighthouse." So, I mean, we could definitely skip ahead a little bit to Skeptic's Corner. So you've got two of the guys on the ground chasing the light that are saying, yeah, when we get closer, we can see it from the lighthouse. Burroughs reported a noise, quote, like a woman screaming, and also that, quote, you could hear the farm animals making a lot of noises, unquote. Halt heard the same noises 2 nights later. Such noise could have been made by Monchek deer in the forest, which are known for their loud, shrill bark when alarmed. So, I mean, we're getting a lot of, witness statements and then other statements that might just not be on the money. And we got a barking deer that could sound weird, and which could be setting out the farm animals. All I know is I'm glad we don't have barking deer over here.
No.
I mean, because then if us going out squatching would just, I think our nerves would have enough of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Scare a bunch of deer and get, what the hell was that? And then a deer comes walking out of the woods, and we're like, holy crap, it's a skinwalker, run!
No! No.
And then all the Brits would look at us and go, oh yeah, mate, there's our barking deer. It's all right. They're fine. Never said I could do a British accent. The Halt affidavit. In June 2010, retired Colonel Charles Halt signed a notarized affidavit in which he again summarized what had happened and stated he believed the event to be extraterrestrial and had been covered up by both the UK and the US. Shock and surprise.
Right?
Contradictions between this affidavit and the facts as recorded at the time in Halt's memo and tape recordings have been pointed out by skeptics. In 2010, Base Commander Colonel Ted Conrad provided a statement about the incident to Clark. Conrad stated that, quote, we saw nothing that resembled Lieutenant Colonel Halt's descriptions, either in the sky or on the ground. And that, quote, we had people in position to validate Halt's narrative, but none of them could, unquote. So, it's Halt. Wrong?
Him versus everybody.
It's him versus absolutely everybody. In an interview, Conrad criticized Halt for the claims in his affidavit, saying, quote, he should be ashamed and embarrassed by his allegation that his country and Britain both conspired to deceive their citizens over this issue. He knows better, unquote.
Wow.
Conrad also disputed testimony of Sergeant Jim Peniston, who claimed to have touched an alien spacecraft. He said that he interviewed Peniston at the time and he had not mentioned any such occurrences. Conrad also suggested that the entire incident might have been a hoax. Oh my God, they're covering things up. They're saying that the witnesses are wrong. That's never happened before. Ever.
No, not at all.
You know, I mean, let's see, what else we got? Oh, yeah, the sheep squad guy, one of them was told, changed his story. Oh, yeah, I saw it. No, I didn't.
Well, you know, I'm on this little other page. It's like 21 facts about this instance. And it's saying Officer Jim Peniston witnessed account described a craft made of smooth, opaque glass, black glass. So, I mean,
you should just read all 20.
I'll do, well, you know, you pretty much covered about 6 or 7 of them. Let's see, we got the number one being the first of several sightings occurred in the early hours of December 26th of 1980. Can't went over that. Oh, I don't know what the hell is this in my way. I can't read number 2 here. Number 3 is one of the few officially documented UFO sightings where witnesses claim to have seen a craft land. It's saying Nick Pope, who was the Minister of Defense employed from 1985 to 2006, and who wrote a book titled Encounter in Rendlesha Forest, the inside story of the world's best documented UFO incident, described the incident with the following words, quote, this was not some vague lights in the sky sighting. The UFO actually landed, unquote. Then we got number 4 being U.S. Air Force Officer John Burroughs described agitated animals and red and blue lights near a farmhouse. Yeah, go figure there. Red and blue, I would be thinking airplanes or something. And then I already gave you number 5. Number 6, indentations on the ground and high radiation levels were recorded the next day. So the morning after the incident, witnessed by Burroughs and Peniston, indentations on the forest floor were spotted, as well as damage to trees in the area where the lights had been seen. Radiation levels recorded at the site of the indentations were also reported to be unusually high. We got number 7. Colonel Holt recorded a running commentary during the second UFO sighting at Rendlesha Forest. Did you mention the second sighting? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah, well, okay.
It's a minor train wreck tonight.
Minor train wreck. All right, well, on that, it's saying on December 27th, 1980, 2 nights after the first reported incident, the United States Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt was ready. Known as a pragmatic character, Holt set out to disprove the wild theories of doing the rounds at the RAF bases. When more lights were spotted, he took his tape recorder and joined a military patrol group. And I think that goes with the audio recording you were talking about. And number 8 saying Burroughs and Peniston, the first 2 witnesses, suffered post-traumatic stress disorder. In the encounter in the book, Peniston wrote, Encounter in Rendlesha Forest, quote, I left the forest a different man. I was in awe of the technology and, yes, a knowing that it was not an aircraft which could have been manufactured in 1980 or even now, unquote. Both Peniston and Burroughs have since suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder. This is reported by the Telegraph in 2015. And in recent years, Peniston has claimed that the craft telepathically transmitted binary code into his brain. Well, that's interesting. And then we go along with number 9. Numerous eyewitness statements emerged following the incident. You pretty much got that covered. Number 10. Some eyewitnesses claim not to have seen any UFO. So this goes with Burroughs and whatnot, saying, up him against everyone else. Another witness, Ed Cabensnag, described seeing a glowing near the beacon light, but as it got closer. Oh, okay. So this is where you were reading with the light. They coming up, saw it from the farmhouse. Next in number 11 is 1983. A UK newspaper ran a front page story which stated UFO lands in Suffolk, and that's official. So they had like a full front page thing being ran on it. What? Number 12. Statements from radar operators have recently corroborated Colonel Holt's claims. So as recently as 2015, the then 75-year-old Colonel Holt announced that he had obtained written statements from radar operators at RAF Bentwaters and nearby Whittingham Airfield that an unknown object was, in fact, tracked at the time of the incident. As per the BBC, Holt claimed that they had not wanted to come forward until after they had retired from their military roles. Now, why would they wait just to get out of their military roles? It's beyond me. Suck it up, admit it. I have confirmation that Bentwaters radar operators saw the object go across their 60-mile scope in 2 or 3 seconds. Thousands of miles an hour. He came back across their scope again, stopped near the water tower. They watched it and observed it go into the forest where we were, said Colonel Holt. So that's interesting. And we're down to number 13. Today, there is a UFO trail set out for forest trekkers. So they're making, something out of this. They're making a trail. So in 2005, due to the public interest in the UFO incident, the Forestry Commission used lottery proceedings to create a trail in Rendlesha Forest. They call it the UFO Trail. In 2014, the Forestry Service commissioned an artist to create a sculpture that was placed at the end of the trail based on the drawings made by eyewitnesses of the UFO.
Sounds like we need to go to England.
Yeah, the bucket list is starting to really get lengthy there.
Well, I think what we might need to do is start like a GoFundMe page and be like, hey, we're just going to take this show on the road and we're going to hit up a list of things we got. You know, all two people could donate like $5 a pop and we could have enough gas to get across the street.
So we're now down to number 14. And so it's saying in 2015, a dog walker posted a fresh video of UFO footage from Rendlesha Forest. There have been more incidents of unexplained lights and UFOs in the United Kingdom and Rendlesha Forest since 1980. Only 5 years ago, a dog walker posted a video, there's a link for it, of bright moving unidentified lights in the sky above Rendlesha Forest, filmed alongside an RAF helicopter. Ooh, right next to the helicopter. And number 15, there's a story about incredibly futuristic technology secretly installed at RAF Bentwaters. So they got some futuristic technology? How'd they get that so quick? Number 16, recent claims suggest the Rendlesha Forest incident was a revenge hoax by the SAS. And so in December of 2018, Dr. David Clark, a British UFO researcher, reported a claim that the incident was set up by the SAS as a revenge plot on the USAF. According to the story, in August 1980, the SAS parachuted into RAF Woodbridge to test security at the site. The USAF detected and captured the SAS troops, who were subsequently interrogated, beaten up, and reportedly even called unidentified aliens as a form of revenge. The SAS devised their own prank version of an alien event. As December approached, lights and colored flares were rigged in the woods. Black helium balloons were also coupled to remote controlled kites to carry suspended materials in the sky, activated by radio controls. Wow, you really have to be really gung ho on that. I mean, why, whatever. Number 17. One original proponent now believes it was an unidentified aerial phenomena, a UAP, that was seen at the site. Jenny Randalls was one of the first journalists to report on the incident. She also co-authored the first book on the case in 1984, Sky Crash, A Cosmic Conspiracy. Ooh, I like that picture. Huh. Anyway. In 2010, Randall suggested that a UAP, an unidentified aerial phenomena of unknown origin, might be responsible for what eyewitnesses experienced. Well, whilst some puzzles remain, they can probably say that no unearthly craft were seen at Rendlesha Forest, she explained. Quote, we can also argue with confidence that the main focus of the events was a series of mispreconceptions of everyday things encountered in less than everyday circumstances, unquote. Yeah, okay, I'll give you a little credit there. Number 18, we got some UFO skeptics believe the sightings were caused by meteor and atmospheric distortions. I'm not too believable on that, but a science writer and UFO skeptic, Ian Ridpath, explains on the night of the incident, the British Astronomical Associated Meteor section reported that an exceptionally brilliant meteor termed a fireball by astronomers was seen over southern England. It is shown that this fireball is most likely what they saw and that nothing landed in Rendlesham Forest. Some skeptics have also suggested the light seen in the sky may have been bright stars distorted by atmospheric and optical effects, a common source of UFO reports. I've never heard that part before, but whatever. Number 19th, we're almost there. Sheesh. Others have suggested the sightings may have been caused by the nearby Orfordness Lighthouse. I mean, you kind of went over that a little bit.
Yeah.
Possible lightings. Number 20, there have been suggestions of a government cover-up. You kind of went over that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And number 21, details continue to emerge as Britain's Roswell earns iconic status. So, academic David Clark argues that Rendlesham Forest, which now has an iconic status among UFO enthusiasts, is passing into legend, and it's not about to be put to rest. New witnesses have emerged as recently as 2016 and 2019, one of which describes a glowing reddish ball, and a new documentary called Capel Green is in the works, which is with a lack of any satisfying conclusive evidence on either side. Skeptics and proponents will continue to debate the matter and compare it to the Roswell incident. So there you go. Your 21 fun facts about this. Give it or give her, interesting.
No, we're not drinking tonight.
No, but the bottle is right here.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is just water.
For once, I'm not drinking. Damn it. I'm being good tonight.
All right, so
yeah.
So the Suffolk Constabulary file on the case was released in 2005 under the UK's Freedom of Information Act and can be accessed on their website. That's what we ought to do, is download all this shit. It includes a letter dated 28th July 1999, written by Inspector Mike Topless, who notes that one of the police constables who attended the scene on the first night returned to the site in daylight in case he had missed something. Quote, there was nothing to be seen, and he remains unconvinced that the occurrence was genuine. Unquote. The immediate area was swept by powerful light beams from a landing beacon at RAF Bentwaters and the Oxfordness Lighthouse. I know from personal experience that at night, in certain weather and cloud conditions, these beams were very pronounced and certainly caused strange visual effects. So, I don't think we can beat a dead horse much more.
No.
So, it's got it cut and dried. I think we've covered everything.
I think we have.
It might be a short show tonight. And I got a dog over here that's just clawing at me to go out. So, Skeptic's Corner. All right, James, your 2 cents on this case.
My 2 cents is jury's still out on this one. I mean, there's been a few sightings, witnesses. It almost reminds you of the Roswell deal, but just where it's located and it's so close to a lighthouse. The lights, whatnot. I can give it to the lighthouse for that, but if Pennington had described it as an opaque black, type material, I don't think they would. Well, in the '80s, though, they might have had something like that. But I mean, who's to say? I mean, I think there's a little more digging, a little deeper. I think needs to happen. I'm stuck in between.
More evidence is needed. I would say that, I mean, you have some people that are coming out and they're saying, you know, these are the documents. They listen to the audio tape that he made.
Oh, that's it. You know, if we should have been able to listen to the audio tape beforehand. And yeah, I guess I should have tried to find it. But yeah.
Well, it's kind of also my fault because of the fact I waited till, you know, 6 o'clock to figure out a topic because I've been running around doing everything else.
Right.
I got busy with everything else, so the topic came up at the end of the day. So
yeah. So if we would have had time to listen to the audio tape, I mean, that could sway me one way or another, or you know, help it.
That's okay. Chaos ensues as always.
Well, at least it's not total chaos.
Yeah, it's not total chaos. It's better than last week's show.
By far.
It seems to be one show out of the season is just off the rails train wreck. And then everything else, we start out strong, train wreck somewhere along the line, then we build it back up.
That sounds about right.
I will say the jury is out on this one. If it is a fake, it is a great fake. Once you listen to the audio tape, that if this is all just a big hoax, it's all big fake. These guys put a lot of time and effort into doing this and documenting everything. So
that's where I think the tape needs to come into play. You know, that will give it a little more credence as to things going on, and yeah,
I'm sure that's on YouTube somewhere. So Rendlesha Force incident.
Guess I'll be hunting for that after this is over.
I don't know how long it is. I just know I caught it on the TV show. And that's basically how I'll let the audience in on this one. I had no topic until about 6, and then I had TV on, and it was doing UFOs, and I was trying to deal with apartment inspections and everything else. And, the show came on of Rendlesha Force. I went, hey, I'm going to talk about that one. You got 2 hours to prep.
Yeah.
So I would say that's that. Next week, I think we're going to do a ghost. We've done 2 cryptids. Here's your UFO. We're going to do a ghost story somewhere from around the world. And then we'll get back into it and cover another U.S. state. Or we'll have another month-long topic of something. So.
Oh, damn.
But until that point, I'm going to sign off. And the king is going to do his tagline. He's going to sign off. And we're going to get out of here because I got a dog biting me trying to get outside. So,
all right. Well, hell.
Everybody, thank you. See you next Sunday.
Yes. Keep your cryptids close and tight and hug them all night.
And that's it. We are gone. See you next week, everybody.